Where are you? Our guest is here. Carlos is here. So, right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Teacher Talk podcast. Every Friday, we have a conversation with teachers from all around the country, pretty much from all around now Latin America. We having people from Argentina next week. We've had people from different places in Mexico, different cities, different states. So today's a pleasure to have a special guest in his building, which is a school. His name is Carlos. Carlos Cruz. How's everything, man?
Hey, how are you doing? Good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit past 12. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here, for inviting me to your show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for showing up. There's Nathan right there, but he's fixing his shoes up. But right now he's right there, straight fresh from war. He just showed up. How you doing, Nathan?
Oh yeah, we just took over some. Hi, I'm sorry I'm late. I've been.
Killing people?
I'm traveling now. I'm traveling today, so I've been fixing my luggage and everything because I always leave things for the last minute.
Oh,
So
you're traveling today. You're gonna come visit me
yes, I am.
somehow.
I am.
Very good.
Carlos, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure.
Hey, Nissan, thank you very much for having me here in your show. The guy that invited me, I think he's not around today.
Yeah, he does that every now and
You
then.
know. So
There's
today
a
we're
special
gonna talk
guest.
about opening an English school, and the question is it still worth it? Is it worth it? That's a good question. So we have since you've had your school, you've had your project. I've had my project. I still have my project.
Mhm.
Carlos works for a company, for a private institution, but he also has his own project as a director of your own project, I suppose.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah,
Can you
yeah.
introduce yourself?
I have my own project. I have my own school. Started about what, maybe 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I started the project. This year, actually, I came up with the opportunity of being the English coordinator in a private school here up north. And but still, I am still running my project. And a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. Is it worth it? I think it's worth it, but you must have a lot of resilience. Since this is the word
Right.
of today, you must have a lot of resilience because it's not easy. I mean, you must have a lot of patience. You have to be really strategic and also confident. I've seen a lot of teachers uh, coming and going, and they want to open their own school, and they be struggling. They think that, I don't know who sold them the idea that becoming an English teacher and having your own project, you were going to become a millionaire in less than 1 month. That's not going to happen. You have to struggle.
Okay. I've
No.
reading these posts here on there on Facebook, and these people are, there was this girl today or yesterday something. She was saying, oh, English teachers needed and 70 pesos an hour, and there's people saying, no, don't take these jobs. You should look for your own students. You can make up to 300 pesos an hour. I'm making 300. There's someone posting this. I'm making 300 pesos an hour. You should follow my lead. You should follow my example. So what's the middle ground there? Like, what would you say to these people, or to post like this? 70 pesos, talking about Mexico, 70 pesos is about uh probably 40 cents of dollar, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be 40 cents of dollar an hour. you know do you think it's little pay? Do you think it's all right? I mean, what are the conditions, because these other people are saying that, well, you marketers, I don't know why they are calling marketers people in the middle, you know. So people that have schools that have a project, they are being called by these Facebook posters marketers. So you say, oh, you marketers are making hundreds and thousands of pesos or money, you know, you're making money, you're making a profit, and you pay so little. So what's reality? What's the reality now? I mean, what's the middle ground right there? Sorry, before let me interrupt you. Irais Rodriguez, congratulations, Carlos, for your great success.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much, Iris. All right. So, well, I mean, what's the middle ground? Really, I think it depends on the institution, though. We were kind of chatting about this last week, if I'm not mistaken. I sent a couple of messages and saying,
Hmm.
well, I have to pay my teachers around 90 and 120, depending on their qualifications, you know, according to their certifications also, whether you have a according to the Common European Framework, whether you have a C1 level, a B1, B2, depending on that, and also depending whether you have a master's or you just have a teacher training course or TKT, Band 1, Band 2, whatever, you know. I think that the middle or the actually average depends a lot on what are your the amount of students that you have. I don't know if you tell me about, and I'm just talking crazy here. In Mexico City, Harmon Hall or Quick Learning, those are big institutions, you know. And if they tell me they're going to pay me 70 pesos an hour, well, I mean, it's disrespectful. In my case, when I started school, when I started with my school, I used to pay 60, 70 pesos an hour. Little by
Wow.
little, you know, the ground thing. I mean, it was growing my number of students, so I had a chance to increase the payment in my with my teachers. You know, I had a chance to, you know what? Now you're gonna make 80 pesos. Now you're gonna make 85, and little by little you go growing because yeah, it's a business. I mean, whether you want it or not, marketers or not, I mean, it's a business. You have to make some profit because otherwise you are not gonna live from the grace of God, you know, saying, hey, you have to make at least 10 pesos for every student that you have, and it also depends on the prices, you know. Um, let me tell you a little bit about this. Before the pandemic, I remember I used to charge around 200 pesos or not even more, 300 or 400 pesos a week. You know, it was like 4 hours a week, and everything was great. When the pandemic comes, I had to lower my classes and the standards of payment up to 100 pesos a week, 4 days, 4 hours. I think that was a good strategy. I lost a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, it was worth it because the amount of students increased, and
Oh,
everyone, since they didn't have a lot of money, a lot of parents have lost jobs because of the COVID. A lot of families were losing members, and the kids didn't know what to do, you know, and stuff like that. That was a good strategy. I started charging like 200. Nobody was actually following me. Nobody was wanted the English classes. I lowered to 150. And one day I saw a person that said, my husband is teaching English classes for 80 pesos a week, 4 hours, Monday through Thursday, small groups. So I had to do the math. I was like, okay, 80 pesos an hour, I mean, 80 pesos a week. That's 4 hours a week. Let's count what? Five, six students. That's 500 pesos a week. If you have two or three groups, you know what? It's worth it. So I lowered my standards and it came up to be pretty good. I increased from
oh
what I
yeah.
had 80 students up to 300 and something during the pandemic.
Wow.
So I kind of
Okay. Okay.
recovered that amount of money that I lowered in order to suit all scenarios.
Okay. Okay. And what does the marketer or the guy in the middle or the school do for teachers that shouldn't, or that would be more beneficial than work for a company than look for their own students?
Well, I mean, because right there you're talking about outsourcing. I don't know how good is that. Because if you having an intermediate person like actually charging for whatever you do, you as a teacher, I don't think that's good for you because this
Mm.
is not a thing where you need an intermediate. I mean, you don't need a marketer to promote you. I think,
Oh,
especially in English teaching. But if you talk about any other business, maybe you do, you know. But according to me, I don't think you need a marketer. I think that you can look for your own job and then for your own students, but you have to do a lot of work. Like I told you, I've seen some people around that wanted to start their own school.
yeah.
2 or 3 months after, they'd be like, "Hey, I just have 3, 4 students. I opened 2 groups. I'm not doing good enough. Hey, I want to earn 100,000 pesos a month." Hey, my friend, it's not gonna happen. At least it's not gonna happen for 1 or 2 years. I mean, the first 2 years you have to hold it up. After that, you might start making a profit, an actual profit. In
Okay.
the
Nisa, do you
meantime,
have a question? You have a comment?
Oh yeah, what he's saying is very real. Like most business, we know most businesses, fail within the first 2 years exactly. And yeah, we've all seen it probably, like people starting a business and wanting to live the life, uh, within the first year, and it's like, no, bro, you gotta work your ass off for at least the first. Well, that's the average, I guess. No, the first 2 3 years, and
Okay. Okay, we have a
yeah,
comment here from Mac, our beloved Mac. It says, Mac, yes, because it's important to be with others. All right, probably, yeah. Having fun while you're learning a new language, to talk experiences during class. That makes a powerful tool. I mean, it's a really good experience taking class at school. Yes, definitely. Socializing. Yes. And we're talking about physical classes, right? By the way, where do you live, Cam? I live in Merida, Yucatan. Yucatan. That's where I live.
KKK,
Yes, yes, of course.
that's so funny.
Yeah. So, but you were referring to online classes, right? That's where you were charging 150.
yeah, because you couldn't open. I mean, I couldn't be physically in school, and it was. I mean, I struggled. Not to be honest, I struggled a lot. At first, I was like, "Well, what am I going to do?" We have to. I mean, I had my stable job here at the private school. I was just a regular teacher, but I said I need to earn something else. So
Right,
I think it was the time where you have to reinvent yourself.
right.
You know?
Right.
And talking about that, how do you get students? How do you get new students?
How do I get used to this? Well, the best marketing is mouth to mouth. And most of my students have arrived thanks to my wonderful teachers. My teachers have
Oh,
done such a great job that most of their students and families from students are like, "Hey, I have a cousin that wants to study English. Can he join?" Of course, here's a telephone number. Send us a message. We make up a group, and then we start teaching them. They love it. They call their uncle, their other cousins. Fortunately, with online teaching, and as we mentioned it not a long time ago, with the new what was it called? The new Facebook project from Mark Zuckerberg.
Meta,
The meta thing.
Exactly.
metaverse.
Now you're gonna have the opportunity not to only be in the screen but also physically there. Teaching,
Yeah.
which is gonna be amazing. But the good thing about this is that I have students not only from Mexico City, it's where I live. I have students from Zacatecas. I've had students from even from Los Angeles. I've had students from Miami, and they be like, "Hey, I move over here to Miami. I have no knowledge of English whatsoever. Can you help me out?" So when I used to tell people, "Hey, are you teaching a person from Miami?" I was like, "Yeah." But why they live over there? Exactly, that's the problem. Usually, sometimes we go and live to the other country, and we have no knowledge of the language.
Right.
So this is a good opportunity for us teachers to reinvent ourselves, reinvent our classes. We have so many technological tools that at the end of the day is going to help them out. So I
Okay.
mean, I've had I had students from all places you couldn't even imagine. You know, I even had contact with a guy from China. I was teaching him at two
Wow.
o'clock in the morning.
Nissan's from
So
China.
yes,
I look like I am. I know I look like I am.
Chinese.
I
Okay.
wouldn't mind. I wouldn't
Uh,
mind though.
okay. We have a
Yeah.
comment from Adeli Cruz. Good afternoon, Carlos. You're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. That's what Adeli said.
The, my supporters.
Okay. We have another cruise here. Different sources of income, boys. Uh, Kudos, gents. Yeah. Good. Should Nissan be in Merida? That's a question for you, Nissan. What's up?
Yeah, my plane leaves 6
Oh man,
in the after
you're a
6 in the afternoon or so.
so
Oh.
you gotta be leaving to the airport in what, in an hour or two?
Nah, I think you know, 2 hours prior is it's enough, right? Or How
Right,
long are we supposed?
right.
How long are we supposed to be at the airport, like
I
before our
don't
flight?
know.
Like it's 2 hours, no? I think. Yeah, what's up with
Two
that? We got
hours.
some angry faces. Who's angry? What did Carlos say that made you angry, people?
I don't know.
Do you
They're
see? Do
not.
you see him? El Che, yeah, Selena and Estrella. Oh, come on. What did he say? What did I say?
Maybe they just, it was a,
They're jealous,
mistake there in the finger. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
That's
It.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, what Carlos was saying is really true. Like when you're starting with your business, like you can't afford like paying too much. No, I guess I'm just speculating here. I guess when you first started your own project, you invited people you already knew, right? Like people you trusted, like some of your friends that wanted to support you in your project. Was it like that, or you reached out to strangers right from the start? How was it?
Man, it's gonna turn out like a psychology session. I mean, when I started telling you that it was hard, it was difficult. I started about 4 years ago with a friend. Actually, we started with the project of teaching kids, and the project was coming out pretty well. We started from 0 to 100 in less than 1 month.
Wow.
So when we finally decided because what we did is we rented a private school to work as our school just by paying like a small rent, a small fee on Saturdays. And at the end of the day, this guy turns his back on me and he's like, you know what? You're out of the project. Thank you very much. I have already registered it, and it's my project
Ooh.
now. So I was pretty angry. Of course, I mean, you go down, but you had two options: either you go down or you go all the way up. So I decided to do the second one. I started my own little project. I started with 3 students. I'm talking this about 2016, 2017. But prior that, I had a project of taking kids to Canada for a couple of weeks of English classes. He didn't know that, so I took about 15 kids with me to Canada. We stood there for 15 days. They were they were amazed by the country, and they learned a lot, and their English level went up really good. When I came back, they decided to go with me because they knew I didn't work there anymore. Of course, nobody knew the reasons. So I started my own project. We started with 3, 5, 10, 10 kids. So when all these people that was in my other school knew that I opened my new school, they started coming with me. The problem was that this other guy told them, "Hey, you know what? Don't go with him because it's the same. It's the same thing. We open just another branch." And so People were like, "Oh, so it's just another branch." Yeah. Well, this one is closer to my house, so I'm just going to stay with you, right? So I had to struggle with that. Sometimes to pay my teachers, I had to get out money from my pocket, reach my pocket. My wife was a blessing. She helped me out too. My wife, she was working and she used to give me money to pay the teachers. Like, hey, we need to pay the teachers. We paid the teachers. We struggled. It was like that for about a year. Little by little, it was picking up really good. My teachers, again, they did a wonderful job. They started making people wanted to come. Pandemic strike, and I was like, man, just about the moment I was going up, pandemic strike. I was like, you know what? Again,
How many
what am I
teachers did you
gonna
have
do?
before the pandemic?
Before the pandemic, I had four teachers.
And
Mhm.
Four
now?
teachers. And now we are a total of 11 teachers, and
Wow.
we went from having 15 students to having 280.
You
Wow.
have 280 students, man.
You're
That's a
thriving. You're
lot of
thriving
students.
right there. Kudos
From
there.
and I'm talking about 280 when the pandemic started. So when I hear people saying that the pandemic hit them really hard and that they didn't know what to do and they had no job and they had no income and they lost everything, I say, man,
Work
resilience.
for me?
Yeah, resilience was the word.
Resilience.
Yeah, resilience. I mean, you have to move your way up, and the only way to do it is by working. No,
Right.
fortunately, I was blessed with that mind power. Started reading and started looking for the possibilities. Finally came through. Uh, Now is the other way. We flip the coin. Now I'm in the other side. When I have a lot of students, I have to pay teachers. Now I have to be behind the parents so they can pay, which is another problem. We have a problem in Mexico is that a lot of people they want to get a benefit, but they don't want to pay for it. So it's like,
Right.
hey,
Right.
it's just 100 pesos a week. I mean, what's the problem? So and they don't pay. I
Yeah.
have
Right.
had like 6 or 7 parents who didn't pay, and the account was up to like 1,500 pesos. They decided to block me. They decided to pretty much
Uh,
disappear. And I was like, why do you do that? I mean, it's not about the money. It's about the benefit that you're leaving your kid for the future.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
For the
and
that's
that's
near
an
the most.
important.
future.
And that's an important point. How do you deal with that? Because I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure we've all been through that. Like, how do you deal with
Well,
Something
I
that
mean,
this?
teachers will never have to worry about because teachers just get paid.
Like the ones
exactly.
working for institutions? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, right,
And it's about I mean, there's also an issue about maybe legislation. I was hearing a couple of days ago a story about a family that stays 3 months in a private school, in a pretty good private school. They stay there for like 3 months. They stop paying the monthly fee and they just move to another private school. But there's no legislation in which you, as a private school, can actually put them in the credit bureau. So the only thing that you can do as a school is just send a message to all the schools around saying, hey, watch out with this family because they're just going 3 months by 3 months without paying any of the monthly fees. They own so many schools. There's no legislation for that. We haven't been protected in that side yet with our government. That's another
Korea.
deal.
I had no idea. I would just assume that as any company that provides a service, you could just you know uh, apply for some of the benefits that any institution that offers educational services have.
But
I had no
but
idea
how
that we
does
didn't have that.
but how does that work? Like you charge them before the cycle starts, after the cycle finished?
I charge them usually by week or by month. So a lot of people were like, "Hey, you know what? I pay you next week." I said, "Yeah, that's cool." Because besides being or wanting to be a businessman, I have a lot of heart. And like I
Right.
was telling you last week, guys, I've had some kids that I teach them for free, and I don't have a problem with that. I want to make something good. But these families were like, I pay you next week, I'll pay you next week. Hey, I mean, your debt is for like 1,500. Hey, can you pay us back? Can you pay us? Can you pay us? They block you. Well, money goes, money goes.
Exactly. Yeah,
I don't know.
it happened to me. Yeah, it happened to me some years ago, and it was also with parents. Yeah, because the kids show up, and you can't just kick them out, right? Like, I'm not quick learning. I'm not like I don't have a receptionist there like telling people like, okay, you know what, you can't enter the classroom like because you have this debt or whatever. So yeah, it happened to me. Like, kids showed up, and I was like, I like you kids, please, go take your class. But then dealing with the parents, like, yes, exactly, you would call them and they wouldn't pick up the phone or they
My
wouldn't answer the
God.
messages and everything. This I think this wouldn't happen to Cam because Cam,
I'm not a
uh,
good person, man.
no, you
I,
are a beautiful person, but you do prevent these kind of things, and I don't, and I
Hey,
mean,
but
what do
I guess what I'm saying is I totally understand Carlos's point of view
no, no,
here.
no,
But
I do
at the
too.
end of the day, that's experience, and that's what's gonna leave you.
Right.
The experience. I've had parents that begged for a discount for, oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to have 4 kids, and I'm just gonna pay for three. You know what? That's good. Keep them coming. That's okay. But at the end, you owe whatever amount of money, and they're like, or else your kids won't be able to enter the class anymore. Uh, and the teachers are like, but don't let him go, he's a very good kid, he's gonna make great things. And yeah, but if they don't pay, you know what, I'm sorry, and you have to deal with that. And I think that's part of the business, and that's part of not only small English schools like mine, but I think big ones too, because again, there's nothing under the legislation in which you can actually ban a parent or put him in the credit bureau
Right.
for not paying the
Right,
service. You're not like a bank
right.
or another
Wow.
institution.
What I do with people that ask me for a discount, I have fixed rates. But people that ask me for discounts, I don't do that. I charge what I charge. What I can do is I can give you more. Like I give you your private
Totally.
classes, and I will give you a conversation club for free. But I would never go lower than that. Why? I'm not saying I never did. Because I did it. Now I noticed that when you give people a hand, they might take your feet,
They need you
the
whole,
whole arm.
whole thing.
So
Right.
I don't play like that because I do try to have a heart, but at the end of the day, if your heart is bigger than your stomach, you will suffer too, so it has to be a right balance. So I try to keep my mind as balanced as possible, saying that, for example, I have this girl, this case. I gave her a discount. I gave her extra classes, more than she was paying for, and I even got her a computer. You know, so really, I couldn't a laptop computer, a secondhand one. All their parents needed to do was to get the power supply, right?
Mhm.
Which is what 6%, 10% of what the whole laptop is, and not even. It's just so. But they did have, and now they have the laptop there in the closet, and she's still using her cell phone. And I go like, there's certain things you can do for students, because I do think the student is worth it. That investment. And even if her parents don't think so, I do think so. However, there's a limit where I cannot go beyond. So I might look like an a-hole sometimes, but I divide my cycles in 4 weeks. So starting week 3, I start telling them, "Hey, you gotta pay. You gotta pay. Don't be telling me." don't be telling me that that I don't have anything. No, like that if because I did it once. One day they didn't have enough money to pay for the cycle, and I said, "Well, we're gonna have to stop classes then." You know, and with all the pain of my heart, that was it. And but they made an effort because I never stopped calling them. Hey, this is important for your kid. This is important for your kid. But you need to make parents understand that this is important for their kids. It's not like, what are you gonna do with this money? Become a millionaire? Man, you're probably gonna spend it in one day in half a day at Walmart. So it's not about the money. It's about the whole project. Like, let's make people bilingual. Let's prepare these kids.
It's about respect. It's about respecting your profession. You cannot leave the hospital without paying the doctor for the surgery you just had done. I
Right.
mean, as simple as that. And a lot of people think, yeah, you're a teacher, you don't need the money. Hey, man, we're the lowest paid in the whole wide world. I mean, the teacher has no wage whatsoever, compared to a doctor, compared to a soccer player, compared to, I mean, we
Talking
should get
about
paid
that,
like that.
what would you tell these people that are on Facebook groups complaining about teachers being so low paid, and that actually encourage other teachers not to accept these low paying jobs? What would you tell them?
To try to get them a job better pay than what they're offering. I mean, to be totally honest, there's a lot of people on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, even that they have no idea about the business, but they just want to talk because they just want to talk.
Mhm.
And not only regarding teaching, about anything. If a person comes out and says, "Hey, I'll sell my iPhone 5 for 2,000 pesos or 3,000 pesos," people will come out and say, "Hey, you know that in the market is about 1,500 pesos, right? You're going to pay a lot for that." There's always going to be haters, and haters, they just hate. What would I tell them? I will tell them, guys, I mean, you have to look at the background, look what's behind the whole project, but behind the whole thing, behind the teacher that is offering 70 pesos an hour. Why is he offering 70 pesos? Maybe because he's charging what, 100? The profit is 30 pesos? Or maybe because he cannot deal with classes anymore and he has to hire another teacher to cover for him. Plus, the teacher that is offering the job, or whoever is offering the job, has to do all the marketing project. He has to go to Facebook, following people, calling them, doing the whole strategy. There's a lot of work behind it. A lot of people doesn't know that. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't know that there's a lot of work behind you. I mean,
Right.
I can see you probably have your school, but whatever you do, sometimes maybe not sleeping, you have to work in your whole operational programs from day one all the way until they are a C1 for the certifications. You have to go see suppliers, you have to go see the Cambridge people, or make your own programs. Or, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that you have to do
just
whenever you're
charging
an
them
entrepreneur.
just charging them is it's a whole duty, like being aware of when they should pay, approaching them and telling them, hey, you gotta pay, doing the banking thing. Just that is a job. Plus what you're saying, the program, the schedules. Yeah, there's a lot of things that people don't know. And I want to ask you, Nisan and Carlos, what's the best paid teacher that how
That we
much
know that we know.
that you actually know, not that you know of?
I know a couple of natives that they've charged around 450 pesos an hour.
Yeah.
But
God.
obviously it depends on your market. Like the people the people they've reached out, and their payment capabilities. But
Okay,
just
and you
a couple, man. Because when I go through the Facebook posts and I see all of these people flexing, oh, I charge 650 pesos an hour. I'm doing great. Like Carlos said before, if you know your niche, if you know your market, you do the math, and you're like, yeah, because you probably got two students,
right.
and those two students don't know any better, so that's what they're.
So if one leaves, you're gonna be in trouble.
I probably ask, what's better, volume or cash? I mean, what's better to have two students and charge them 650 pesos an hour, and if one of them leaves, then you end up with 650 pesos and 23 hours to go,
Right,
or you rather have
which is
maybe
my case.
8 hours, eight classes throughout the day. I don't know, maybe from eight to nine, 9 to 10, or whatever.
Yeah,
Charge them 80 pesos, get a group of like 6, 7 students, and at the end of the day, you end up making more money than the 1,200 uh, pesos that you probably make with 650 an hour. I mean, you have to also look at what are they looking for. I've had students that I've charged them 400 pesos an hour because they want to prepare for IELTS, or they want to prepare for CAI or for CPE. Well, in those cases, I think it's worth it,
of
But
course. Yeah,
if I have a kid from second grade in a public school that just wants to get his English master, I don't care. I charge him 20 pesos an hour. I have no problems with that,
Mm,
you know.
ah,
But if I have a person who has a master's and one is looking forward to live in Canada for the rest of her life and whatever, and she wants to do the IELTS, hey, how much are you going to charge me? 500 pesos an hour. And I've seen teachers that charge 500 pesos an hour, and especially native teachers, they can charge up to 700 pesos. I've seen teachers 700 pesos an hour,
right.
especially to businessmen, because they think that having a native teacher is better than having like a no native speaker.
Yeah, they pay for the idea, because sometimes you get to meet these teachers, and they don't even have a teaching background also. But people will pay for the idea of,
oh God, no. What
of
I
having this English teacher.
I what I do is I charge what I need. I don't. I really. I mean, I like I said, I don't have a big heart. I don't charge based on how much they can pay. No, I charge based on what I need. So this is what I need to survive. This is has as many students as I need. This is as many hours as I can teach. So this is what I charge you. This is what my hour costs. Boom. And if but I rather have more bosses, because every one of your students is your boss, right?
Yeah,
Than have one, only one, or two or three. No, I rather have 20 or 30 bosses. So if one of them leaves, it's easily replaceable, So I don't have to. I try to give each person the best service I can, as whereas is being punctual and give them a good service, be encouraging to continue this and that, right? But if they for any or another reason decide or are not able to continue with me, yeah, I don't resent it as much because it's just one. But if one of them is paying half of my salary and the other one is paying the other half, ooh, I'll be struggling. I be like I be begging or praying
you
so
might as
he
well
won't
apply.
leave.
Yeah, exactly. You might as well apply for a job at some institute or some, right? Like
Yeah,
something more steady. Yeah,
because how
Well, I mean,
many?
at the end of the
Sorry,
day, you must have a standard. I'm sorry, you must have a
right?
standard, and I think we all teachers have a standard. But again, I don't think I will charge the same for a guy that is in elementary school. Maybe whether he has money or not, for
Mm,
a person that wants to do a CPE, a proficiency exam, because it requires more lesson planning. It requires
right.
more tools. It requires even mock exams and more preparation on your side. It's like
Right.
if you're going to if you're going to give a teaching course, which I also sometimes I give, you know, I do some teacher training courses, and of course, I mean the amount that I'm going to charge is not the same because it depends not on the, I wouldn't say on the economic status of the person, but it depends on whatever they're looking for. You
Right.
know,
Which is
what
also an ethical thing to do when you pay teachers, because you know that if that teacher is going to be teaching elementary school students, uh, they will need to do much preparation, no, prior to the class. But if they have to prepare somebody for a certification test, perhaps a certification test that not even the teacher has applied for, you know they're gonna have to sit down and study and invest some time. So yeah, you should pay them a little more because uh, they're gonna be working not just that hour they're gonna be teaching, no,
Yeah, you're gonna
but
be working for
probably
a
another
schedule.
2 hour. Yeah, probably other 2 hours.
So back to the original question: opening an English school, is it still worth it? Is it worth it? You, Carlos, you would say yes, it is.
is worth it as long as you know what you're getting into. Is worth it.
Mm.
Is worth it
Okay.
because again, the other day I mean, last Friday we were talking about a lot of Facebook posts coming up saying, "I'll teach." There's some even posts that I don't understand. 100 pesos, 4 days. You can learn English, French, German, Italian,
And a
and you're like,
massage.
In 3 months, happy endings and all.
Right.
and so the other day I was curious about it, and I decided to click on it, and I asked for information. I said,
Oh, you
"Okay,
did?
yeah." I said, "Well, let's see what."
For the
After
massage.
that conversation that we had last Friday, I was like, "Let's see how it goes." So I received the information, and they asked me for my phone number. I gave them my number, and then
Mm.
they were like, "Okay, we got your number. Now, let me tell you how the process is. We're gonna give you a USB with books, with listenings, and you learn at your own pace.
Okay.
And then you might get a tutorial class for like half an hour every week if you have any
Mm,
questions." I said, "And that's what
right.
you're charging for, 100 pesos?" Yeah. And what about the free certification that you were talking about? Well, if you buy our program, which is for about 2 years, if you buy the complete program, we can give you your Cambridge certification for what she said for preliminary English test. I said, "Are you sure what you're talking about? After 2 years, I'm gonna get a preliminary English test, which is what, B1?
It's not even, yeah, yeah.
Not even a
And which is
B1."
which and some which is usually not even official. Like they send you this PDF. Well, that's what they've told me. They send you this PDF, that says, "Oh, this guy, paid
For the program.
for this for a yearly program, and he would probably pass a Cambridge certification test." Like that's what it says on the document. So yeah,
Right.
it's ridiculous, man. It's
And you
That's
it's
and you
scam.
have
crazy.
to and you have to compete against those things because I mean
Right.
Right.
what the client, because at the end of the day our students, besides being our bosses, they're also clients. What they see is, oh, 100 pesos, good. And
Why
then
am
you
I
offer
paying so
them
much?
exactly, 100 pesos, that sounds good. They get the information, of course. I think from 1,000 requests they probably get with 50, which is good because at the end of the day you're earning 5,000 pesos, but you have to compete against this. Is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it as long as you give something extra.
Right.
Okay, like in this case, well, in your case, you have this and conversation on Monday. No, I'm sorry. Today, also in the afternoon, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken, with the conversation club.
Right.
In my case, for example, we give them summer school for some of the kids, which they can play. I offer at the end of the year, I have an agreement with a company, and if the families agree, and of course if they pay, they get to go to Toronto for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Toronto,
Nice.
Montreal, or even though I have some students living this year to Bristol and London
How can I
to
enroll?
study for 3 weeks over there. Over there, that's a plus that I'm offering, and I'm offering for kids to have an experience outside Mexico. You know, and I offer them conversation clubs, and I offer them podcasts, and I offer them in some other cases extra exercises, extra reading strategies, a phonetics class, which most of the schools don't give. I give them a phonetic class for a whole bimester so they can at least sound a little bit native. No,
Right.
so try to give them a little extra, and that's what business is about. You can have 10 different types of chips, but the ones that taste the best are the ones that you're going to buy no matter how the price is.
Right.
Right. Right.
You
Oh
know, so
man.
is it
The,
worth it? As long as you work for it, it's worth it. But you have to be patient, and you have to hate sleeping for at least 1 or 2 years, because at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. You know?
Right.
okay, man. So it was today was one of the most productive podcasts we've had because we came to hear it from an expert because you in real life you are there, right, Carlos? You are,
Yeah.
it's not only a comment because when you read comments from Facebook, there, you never know who's posting. It could be just BS. Like it might not be a real person. It might be this teenager, pretending to be a
Somebody
teacher.
that doesn't even teach for a living.
Right, right. So it's but now thanks for enlightening us, Carlos.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed this morning. Do you have an extra comment, Nissan?
I did. Oh, but
Oh God.
go first, cause oh man, I had it like right here.
Okay, we'll wait 10 seconds. 10,
Right, in
9.
silence, to make it,
In silence.
yeah, to make it even more awkward. All right.
Okay, no, but thanks to everybody, like people were commenting there, people were having a good one, so thank you very much. You can follow us every Friday at 12 at noon, Mexico City time, Central time. We're here in our Teacher Talk. Teacher Talk is a podcast, a live podcast. Well, it's not even a podcast, it's just a teacher talk, amongst teachers and advanced students. So, like what we do in the teacher's lounge, we just sit down and talk before our class. Remember when we used to have physical classes? Now we don't. Most of us don't, but that's what we do. We just talk about things like this, So thanks a lot for showing up. Maybe Nissan has his last comment because we're gonna finish with Carlos' comment.
All right. Yeah, no, I did have something to say about wages and stuff, but no, I totally forgot. So I guess I just want to thank you, Carlos, for joining us. You were concise, and we can tell that you know what you're talking about, and we appreciate that. So I hope we can do this some other time. Well,
Ah,
Okay.
sure. I mean, I'd be more
again.
than glad to cooperate with you guys. I mean, I felt really, really, really good with this conversation. If you also invite me to one of those conversation club in the afternoon, I'll be more than glad to join. And
We'll be
maybe
happy.
some of my students can join also. And we can have a friendly conversation. But anytime, I mean, whenever you want to, I can
Oh
surely.
man, you're always welcome. We'll be in touch. So
Always
Carlos,
welcome.
tell us. I'm sorry. Tell us your last comment here. We're having your WhatsApp, all your info, your contact info. So tell us about it, please.
All right. Well, we have here the Nonstop English. That's the name of my school. We have a website which is nonstopenglish.com.mx. There you can see a lot of information about what we do at the school, which is also a good progress. Whenever a school has a website, means that it's doing good business. Fortunately, we have some pictures from the trips, from our activities. You're going to see a lot of crazy crazy things that we do. Our WhatsApp, if you want to send us a message to request information, it's right there. It's 55 80 55 41 80. And in Facebook and Instagram, you're going to find us as Nonstop English. So please look for us. If whether you enroll or not to our school, just give us a like, because that way a lot of people is going to get to know us. And well, guys, it was a pleasure.
Is
Really.
it this one?
Let me see. Yeah, that's the one. Hold on, I cannot see. No, is that? Are you in Instagram?
Yeah.
No, it should say Nonstop English with a 3 instead of an E.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's Nonstop and then the number 3, because the other ones were taken though.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
Let me see if I have it here, and if you can give us a like, that would really appreciate it. Let me see. It's right
Of
here.
course, man. Like
Oh,
we're
it's got
always happy
it's
to
got
deal
it's
with.
got a yeah. It's got what's it called? Like the Hindenburg thingy.
The which one? The
The I just forgot the word
The
too.
picture.
The picture. It's a
What's the picture?
flying something.
it's a flying rocket. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The logo.
It is a rocket. Ah, there you go.
It is a rocket,
Uh,
and at the bottom says one step beyond.
all
So
right.
it means that we
Following you
always
already.
go
Yeah,
one step beyond.
there you go. Following you
So if
already.
you look for us,
That was me right there. All right.
that was it. This is Facebook right here, Nonstop
Cool. Cool.
English.
All right.
You know, you can see all of the information there. Right now, we are only online. Later on, we'll be doing it. Razones para aprender inglés. There you go. Number one, mejores
Cool. Cool. Cool.
oportunidades laborales. That's number one reason to learn English.
There you go.
All
All
right. So
righty
thanks very
then.
much.
All right, Carlos. Thank you very much for being here, and hope to see you soon, sometime not too long from now. So, thank you very much, and guys, see you next Friday. We have a special guest from Argentina, according to Oscar Cruz, which was not here today, but we miss him too. All right. So, guys, see you next time. Enjoy.